Your heart is glowing, and I'm crashing into you. Baby, kiss me before they turn the lights out.
Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing a tutorial. I have nothing on my eyes. I've done my base and my eyebrows, and if you couldn't tell already, we're going to be doing a 49er themed makeup tutorial. For the past 2 years that I've been into makeup, I have loved matching my eye makeup to team colors. So if you'd like to see a red and gold makeup tutorial, please keep on watching. Okay, so all of my base and my eyebrows are done. If you'd like to see an in-depth tutorial that goes step by step on how I do all of those things, you can check out my other tutorials on my page. But today we're just going to do the eyes, lips, and cheeks. So the first thing that you want to do is get all your things ready. What you're going to need is an eyeshadow base. And what I'm going to use is my Fergie by Wet n Wild eyelid primer. And I'm going to take that all over the lid. I only put a dot on each eye just because it's a really good primer. It's better to use less. That's saying less is more. Just because when you put too much, it almost defeats the purpose and it makes it too thick, and you really want to keep things lightweight. Now, after you spread that all over your eye, you're going to want a mid-tone shade color. And today I'm going to use my I Heart Matte palette from Wet n Wild. And this palette has a lot of good stuff right here that I'm going to use, especially this brown and this black later on. But what you can do is you can take this tan shade, and I'm taking it with a big fluffy brush. A Sigma E40 is similar, but right now this is a BH Cosmetics, and I think this is a Crease brush. Now what you want to do is you want to take your brush and you're going to define your crease. And this is a step that can be super messy. You don't have to worry about it. And if you have a hard time finding your crease, like sometimes my monolid friends, you cannot find your crease, if you look down at a mirror, you'll see where your eye naturally has the shadow and where it folds. And what you are going to do is you're going to take your brush and you're just going to go in windshield wiper motions. And what you're doing, as you're doing windshield wiper motions, you're doing little circles. And as I'm defining my crease, I'm like right where that fold is. If you want to take the brush and just sort of like dab it right into where your eye, I know it's weird to do that, but you're not poking yourself in the eye, so beware. But you're just finding that area where your eye folds. Once you think you have that pretty much defined, that's going to help us keep all of our eyeshadows in place. We're not going to go past that crease area, because once you do, that's your brow bone, and we're going to use a different color there. So the next step is we're going to lay down our gold. And our gold that we're using today is from MAC, and it's called Woodwinked, and it's a really great gold. We're going to take that with this E.L.F. It's just a shadow brush, a flat shader brush. So I'm going to take a tissue because I don't want any fallout, and I'm going to tap that all over my lid. Now as I'm tapping, I'm going to tap it first, and then I'm going to blend it all the way up to the crease without going past the crease. Now it's up to you how golden you want it. I like it really, really golden. So I'm going to just keep adding on until I feel it's bright enough for me. The main density of the color you want in the inner corner, and maybe 2/3 into the lid. It's really fun to do these types of tutorials because, I mean, I've always wanted to show people how I do my makeup, and you know, it's nice that it's a little more lax where I get to talk. But the problem that I'm coming up against right now is that my camera cuts out in 10 minutes. So I constantly have to stand up and readjust my camera, refocus, and then start over again, trying to remember where I left off. Okay, so once I have the majority of the pigment on my lids, I like to take a brown color now to define my crease even more. The first shade is sort of like your best friend color. You may hear that on YouTube or not, but it's your best friend color because it's your best friend from going past where you need to go. Now the crease, what you're going to do is you want it to be a gradient from that lightest brown shade to an even darker brown shade. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do the lighter brown to a darker brown to a black, so that it has that sort of like fading effect. So So I'm going to take, again, my Wet n Wild palette, and I'm going to do the brown shade. Now the brown shade I'm going to tap with my blending brush is the E25 from Sigma. You could also use a MAC 217, or, I mean, there's some E.L.F brushes, like the E.L.F Crease brush, that's really good too. And what I'm going to do now is doing the same thing earlier, where I'm going right where my eye folds, much deeper, so much lower in the crease instead of fluffing it all the way high, and this is going to be a little more precise. So as I'm taking the brush, I'm looking down and I'm going to concentrate it more on the outer corner, and then I'm not going past where I had put the previous brown. So as I'm fluffing it in, I'm doing small circles. For my personal eye shape, I like to go inward so that it has that sort of like deep crease look, but depending on what your eye shape is, then that's how you're going to blend accordingly. So as I'm doing more deep shading in the outer crease, whatever's left on the brush I'm taking inward so that it has that sort of blending effect. And I'm doing little circles. I'm not making them really wide, but I'm just doing tiny little circles in that area. And then as I'm doing that, I'm also taking the previous brush that I had before, and I'm going to fluff that out so that there are no harsh lines. So what that does is it keeps it dense right here in the crease, but then right outside of that, it fluffs it up. So that's what you're constantly thinking of. Let's just make everything fluffy. So again, I'm going to take more of that brown, tap it off, and then I'm going to do the same thing, keeping it dense on the outside corner, and then bringing whatever's left back into the inside. You very well could go all the way to the inner corner, but I don't personally do that just because I like my eyes to fan outward. But again, it depends on your eye shape. Nobody's eyes are the same. For me, it's easy to see my crease when my eyebrows are up. I'm sure I'm going to get wrinkle lines and stuff when I get older, but it helps me find my crease. So as I am lifting up my eyebrows, I'm like squinting my eyes so that I can see where that fold is. But it also helps because you can feel it. So that is looking good. Again, I'm fluffing. The other thing that you want to try is that you're touching your brush at the end. It helps to give yourself a lightweight touch to your brushes, and it's almost like maybe what I would imagine painting would be like, because your light strokes and your light flicking motion makes it easier to blend. So my mirror's right here in case you were wondering. Okay, so with that same brush, I'm actually going to go in with the black. And the black I'm going to put in my outer corner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look in my mirror. What I'm going to define my outer corner as is the area of the white of my eyes and outward. Now you never want to go past your eye. Let me move my hat. You never want to go past this area, because if you do that, then your eye look will look sad. You want to keep it so that your eyes are always looking upward and lifted, and you're going to achieve that by not going past this. The way you can remember that is take your brush and then you're going to put it under your lash line, your lower lash line, and it should align with the end of your eyebrow. So if you never go past that, you're perfect. Okay? So when I define how far it goes in, I'm going to use my brush as my guide, because my brush is only so big, and when I tap into this area, it's not going to go past that place. So I'm going to take the black from my Wet n Wild palette again. I'm going to use the same brush, the E25. I'm going to take that black, tap a little bit onto my brush. And with this color, especially any dark color like a black, you want to be very careful and add a little bit at a time. Like, there's no rushing to makeups. I mean, you can rush if you're like on your way to work. But when you're doing an eye look, I like to take my time. And I like to take a little bit of black, and then I'll add on as I go along. So as I'm tapping, it's only going to a concentrated area. I like to tap the color first. Say tap one more time. Oh my goodness. I like to tap I like to tap the color out the inner corner and then start to do little blending circles. Now as I'm blending my circle, I'm keeping it in what's called the outer V, or the outer corner, or I don't know, the outside of your eye. And what this does is it creates dimension. And when I'm blending in this outer area, again, I'm not going past this line, and I'm doing it in a way that I'm not going past the second brown color that we did, because right now we're just concentrating it on that corner. And for me, it's more of an outer triangle. So if you watch my last tutorial, I explained it as an outer triangle. And when I tap in that black, I'm tapping it in and then blending little circles. And what that does is it keeps it concentrated right where my eye folds. Like, that's where you're going to stop. Once you have the most pigment on that outer corner and you think you don't have much left, then that's when I'm going to start to fan it inward. Not going past that certain brown color, the second brown color, but just sort of like bringing the color inward so that it has sort of like that cohesive coloring. So then you won't just have black hanging out on the outside of your eye. Right, so I don't know if you can tell, but this eye should look more sunken in than this one because I've created the dimension with the black color. And then again, this is your best brush ever. I'm taking that around the edge and just softening everything up. So we can go back and forth. So I'm going to go to my other eye. I'm going to take some black again, and I'm going to tap off the excess. Again, you want to start with a little bit of amount on everything. And I'm going to tap in the outer corner, and then start making circles. I'm keeping it just in the same area. I'm not going inward as I'm swirling in. I'm just staying in place. And as I'm staying in place, I'm concentrating the majority of the color on the outer corner. Then with whatever's left on the brush, that's when I start going in. And that is when I start going in above, like right above the gold. And that's how you get that sort of like outer V looking thing. Again, you just want to look at both eyes straight on to see if it's even and if you need more of something else. So right now I'm just blending with no extra product on my brush, but you're more than welcome to take more of that salmon color. You could take that and you sort of blend that in there. Now if you feel like you lost some gold while you were blending, you're welcome to go back to the gold and tap some of that back in so that you can make it a little more vibrant. This look you could do anytime. Like you could do this on a daily basis and just like, I don't know, walk around the mall or go to a party, and this would be a really good look too. But the way that I'm going to make it niners is I'm going to pair it with the red lip. Now, some people may not want to do a bold eye and a bold lip, but I sometimes don't care. Especially if it's like a party and you're going to a niner game and a niner party and everybody's having fun, like it really doesn't matter. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm making this up as I go along, I think I'm going to line my eyes with some black eyeliner. So I'm going to take a black eyeliner. This is the Fabu liner from Jordana. You can do this with just eyeshadow, which is what I often do, or you could do a liquid liner so that it's a little more exciting. I do, however, need a mirror. My mirror is really far, so I'm going to try to do this with the mirror a little bit up closer. If you'd like a tutorial on eyeliner alone, please comment below and then I will be happy to do that. But right now I'm just going to go through the liner. I can talk through it a little bit, but we're not going to go super in depth. So what I'm going to do for this particular eye look is I'm going to make a super thin line all the way across. Just on the top part of my eyelashes. As I get to the outer corner, I'm going to start to define where I want my clip, and you're going to follow it by putting it and matching it against your lower lash line. So I just sort of flick upwards, and then I'm going to connect the lines and fill in. You can decide how long to make it, how short to make it. Right now I'm going to do like a medium length flick. I don't want it to be too crazy. For tomorrow's game, I'm going to a family party. I'm going to go to the East Bay for my boyfriend's niece's birthday party. So we're just going to hang out at the house, and so it'll be really nice just to be all Niner themed. I think she's having a Niner party. Okay, so now that I have my flicks done, what I'm going to do is define my lower lash line. And I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to take the same eyeshadow brush from earlier, the flat shader, and I'm going to put a little bit of the gold right at my lower lash line. I'm only going to go in maybe the inner third. I'm going to take a little bit of that and put that in my inner corner as well. Now I'm going to wipe a little bit of that off on my brush, and now I'm going to take the same brown and black from my palette, and I'm going to tap both of them onto the tip of my brush, and then I'm going to use that to define my lower lash line. I'm going to take this shade. It's a little bit of a champagne-y color with a little bit of gold in it. And I actually made this eyeshadow from a Wet n Wild trio. It's called Walking on Eggshells, and I just used alcohol to pat it in, and I put it into this little pan. This is E.L.F. Essential Defining Eye Brush, and it's angled and it's a little bit thinner, and I'm going to use that to just tap in and define my inner corner by just putting it right here and then fanning it upwards. So my lip color of choice is going to be this NYC Retro Red color. It is really good. It's like a bluey pink, and I love using it when I'm doing this eye look because it matches my shirt, and it's just super retro. I've already moisturized my lips from chapstick a while ago, so I'm going to take this color straight from the bullet. I like to put my lip color on so that I can see what my lips are doing so I can match my cheeks. If you want to, you could line your lips and then put on the lipstick, but I personally, sometimes I can't be bothered. And the edge of the lip helps you, you know, make everything work. Now that I have my lip on, I can look at my face and see what kind of blush I need. So I've already got bronzer on and I have a little bit of blush, but I'm going to add a little bit more because I don't want to look like I'm dead. And I don't want to put too much blush on because my eyes and my lips are intense. So this is just to add on to what I already had. So this is my entire face done. I'm just going to finish everything with some mascara. So I'm going to curl my eyelashes, and what I like to do is I like to do it from root to tip. And then I just take it and start tilting my eyelash curler upwards as I'm going to the tip. Just curling them a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little bit of mascara. You could put false lashes if you wanted to, but like I said before, I'm going to a family party, so I'm just going to be chilling at the house. So tomorrow, we're playing the Seahawks, and so it'll be really interesting, because one of my favorite YouTubers of life is It's Judy's Time, and her husband is super into the Seahawks because they live in Seattle, but it'll be nice if we won. So my battery's about to die. This is the finished look. Sorry I can't do any zoom-ins, but go Niners. I hope we win tomorrow. It'll be a fun game to watch no matter what. And you know what? Sometimes I don't even care about bandwagoner fans. Like, if you like and respect the game, then you should be able to go all out and just have fun and watch the game with all of your friends and do what you need to do. A lot of people give a lot of other people slack just because they haven't watched the whole season, but when are you going to celebrate like this with your whole city? You know what I mean? So hopefully we have a good time tomorrow, and let's enjoy the show. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and this is Makeup in SFC with Natasha Camille. So thank you so much for watching. Bye! Go Niners!